See, now the really cool thing about that is you got to finally see it on the video.
That's right. Yeah, I thought you meant the new one, but I forgot. I did the old one too.
Yes, you did that one for the movie Madhouse and one coming up for The Vicious Circle. For everybody watching, this is Mike Trebilcock, and that music you heard, he did that for us. That catchy little intro that we have now. And again, I can't thank you enough for that. That's amazing.
Anytime.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about, because we got a lot of news, but I wanted to dig just a little bit, because you were in a band a while ago, weren't you?
I was in a few bands, yeah, but I guess the one of note is the Killjoys, I guess.
Yes. How does one go from, playing the bars, like so many people, we have friends that do, to getting that contract?
Well, it actually came directly from playing the bars. And we played endlessly and relentlessly. So we played bars, we played any chance we had, so that the more people would get to see us. So we were trying to build an audience, and not just an audience of fans and people that liked the music and everything, but an audience of people that were interested in maybe getting together with us and trying things out and seeing if we could go further than where we were. So really, it just came from playing a lot. And we played in Hamilton a lot, and we played in Toronto a lot. And we also played in London, Ontario. We played, we did sort of the Southern Ontario circuit, I guess. But it was mostly Hamilton, because at the time there was a lot of bars to play in Hamilton. And there was a few in Toronto that we played as well. Like, we kind of did the circuit in Toronto, and we did the circuit in Hamilton. And funnily enough, the guys, when we finally hooked up with management, they saw us in Hamilton, not Toronto. So it was just like everything in my life. It's just pure luck. So it's pure luck and persistence, I guess. It's persistence, just waiting for luck to happen. Right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, how much does it change? Because everyone always says, if you're doing something you love, it's never a job. But at some point, when you're doing what you love as a job, it can become overwhelming. Did it ever become like that for you?
I guess it did. We stopped for a reason. Not really probably a reason that I can nail down, but we were just tired of the whole of playing that game sort of thing. It was a lot of we were signed to Warner Records, so it was a lot of lunches with record sellers and record company people and subsidiary record company meetings and a lot of things that are necessary that we weren't 100% down with.
Gotcha.
It does become a bit of a something that you weren't, and we weren't playing. We played for 40 minutes a night. That was our set, and then the rest was sitting in a van for the most part, and then sitting on a bus for the lesser part. And I think we were probably back to a van a little bit there too. But so it's not a lot of musical gratification. It's a lot of selling what you've already done.
So it turns into more of a real business at that point instead of a passion.
It is, and it's a business and it's a passion at the same time. But it's a bit of a grind, I guess, is the word for it. Like, not that we weren't expecting a grind, but we wanted to really the reason that, let me talk more about me. I wanted to play more music. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to get into a bus or a van and sit for 12 hours at a time. I want to play music. That's where my passion lies. I knew that this was what I was getting into, and I'm 100% glad that that's the way it worked out and that I did it. But I'm also glad that we moved on from there as
Gotcha.
well.
And you've kind of shifted gears now too, because you still do music, but you've started doing other stuff too. Like we met because your film played at our Comic-Con.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
What made you decide to go that change?
Well, okay, let me go back to the beginning again. So before the Killjoys,
Mhm.
I was doing, I had gone to school for music. And I was doing music for TV shows and music for. I was trying to get into film at the time. So like before the Killjoys thing sort of broke, it was I was more focused on film and just trying to get into that world. So after the Killjoys thing happened, I was again trying to get back into where I was before, just to sort of try to pick off where I left off. But it's a little bit difficult. Things had changed too. It was 10 years later, and it was a whole new ball game. So if I had kept going on that in that direction, I probably would have been in better shape right now. But I had to go and be a rock star for a while. So
Gotcha.
you do what you got to do. Uh,
Well, with
So
this,
I sort of started making movies so that I would have something to score. Uh,
oh,
so I started doing. I was teaching music to kids and started. And I had the opportunity to do camps where we would make movies. During the summer break, and I would, get to score the movies and just start moving in that direction. And that started me making my own movies because I had to make movies in order to score them, right?
yep.
So then I started just making. So then I thought it was time to make my own movie. So that's when I made Chewed, and Chewed is what you guys screened, and
Yeah.
it's actually just found a home on DVD, or I guess it's DVD. It's not out yet, but it's part of an anthology called Fright Vision.
Oh,
And
wicked.
that's happening. That's going to be out soon.
Excellent.
So,
Oh,
that's going to be happening, and I'm still working on Spider Mama, which is my second, real uh, uh, short. But
yeah.
then I've got a few features written as well, uh, and I'm not sure if I knew that I could make movies before the whole camp thing started. So that was really what the impetus was making the movies for the camp so that I could score my own films, and then I sort of got the bug to keep making movies. So I'm still doing other stuff, but uh, in between other projects, I'm doing my own things as well.
How did that first, like, how did Chewed come to you? Like, what made you decide that was going to be the one?
Um,
Because it's kind of ambitious. There's a
oh
lot of effects in it.
yeah. Okay. So I was making movies for kids, and we didn't have a lot of money. We had no budget at all. So I was just, by myself, I'm brainstorming ideas. Okay, what can you do for a very low budget in one room that you know that you could, I was thinking I could do it with kids. Okay, so there's kids. They're sitting in a boardroom, and everyone gets their legs bitten off. Maybe that's what I could do. And of course, better judgment took over, and I thought, well, I can't really do that with kids.
Yeah, yeah.
So it started off as an idea for the camp that I usually do for the music school that I was working for. So that's how Chewed came about. And I'm a big fan of EC comics and Creepshow and movies like that. And so those short little tales of justice really get my attention. So that's sort of where where that came from. So I thought, okay, around a boardroom, legs get chewed off. Now I had to sort of reverse engineer it. So why would that happen? And then why would that happen? And then why would that happen? And then so I kind of worked backwards from the ending, and I knew what kind of feeling it had to have. Like the EC, there's always it's a morality play, really. All of those EC stories.
Yes.
So I was working my way back from that violent ending to why would all of this happen possibly. So I actually did a lot of research for Chewed about what was going on around at the time, like with gangs and drugs in Mexico and all that stuff, and the U.S. sort of involvement, and also people, corporations plundering the landscape, and I sort of went pretty deep with the whole thing, maybe too deep in some ways, because there was a lot of talking involved, because you got to explain everything, right? So
Yeah. When you have that kind of a deep story, there is a lot of exposition. But
you've got to explain it.
but I think that's what makes it the piece that it is, though, in all honesty.
Yeah, that there's explanation, or I mean, some people don't really dig the sort of backstory, but I don't know. I think everything needs to have a bit of character and some kind of development, and you have to be just a tiny bit emotionally invested in the characters.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm a big reader as well, so the story really is number one. I love effects. I wanted to be an effects artist. I wanted to be a stuntman, but really number one for me is always the story. It's got to be an interesting story and an engaging story. So I hope that's what Chewed was. And Spider Mama, again, that's the one I'm working on now in between other projects. It's another sort of morality play. It has a message. I went to some kind of horror convention, but George Romero was talking, and he said that make these movies. That's fine. Make movies. Make what you want, but say something. And I knew exactly what he meant. And this is what he meant. He meant say something other than what you're saying. Like have some kind of a commentary behind, not just, as they call it. Although I have to say that the Saw movies, because I was going to say something about, what do they call it? Torture porn. And
Okay.
I don't find the Saw movies to be torture porn. I find them to be morality tales, in fact.
Yes.
And as a bit of a detective story as well.
Yeah, there's a big difference between that, like hostile torture porn and Jigsaw, like the Saw
Yeah,
movies, because half of the Saw movies is implied,
yeah,
you
for
know.
sure. Yeah, and you have to sort of figure it out. It's like I'm likening it to sort of a Beretta episode or something like that, or something where you got to find the killer. Or why is he do? Well, I guess we know the killer, but
Well, and that's why at the end they always have all those flashbacks to make everything fall into place, because it is like that mystery.
yeah, yeah, and everything makes sense at the end. I'm not sure that you all make sense at the end, but I think in my head it does.
that's, that's the fun part about being the director, though.
That's right.
um I wanted to ask too, because one of the people in Chewed you've also worked with on other stuff, and I wondered, did you guys get together before Chewed? I guess I'm talking about John Miori. Did you guys get together before Chewed, or did you meet him then for casting, or how did you guys hook up?
Uh, I forget what the first thing we did was. It could have been, I think. I'm not really sure, but I think that I knew that he was in town and he was a horror fan, and so I sort of asked him if he needed music or anything, because I really wanted to be involved in whatever he was doing. So, and I think it might have been Poltergeist Encounters was the first one that we did,
Oh
and
yeah.
then uh, Poltergeist Encounters, there wasn't much music because it was a
It's all found footage.
found footage thing. So there was like an end theme, I think, and that was about it. But I was the ghost in that movie.
Were
So
you?
I
That I
helped
did not
out
know.
around the set. You know, if something had to move mysteriously, I moved it mysteriously.
Dude,
So
that is cool.
yeah, so we were just kind of hanging around and doing scary stuff, and so I've done a bunch of stuff with them since. I did Exorcism of the Dead. I did the music for that.
Yes, I remember that song. There's Creature from Cannibal Creek. That was the one that played in.
Where I was the creature and the score writer. I'm
Yeah,
just trying to think. You know, I started this whole score thing by first doing songs for films, just single songs, like end themes. So that's what it was. So the Exorcism of the Dead, the end credits, he needed a song. So he said maybe something like Dawkin, like Dream Warriors. So I wrote the song Exorcism of the Dead, and that was the birth of Cemetery Spawn.
that's what my next question was going to be: is how did Cemetery Spawn come around?
And it was all to do with all because of John Muir, because he just wanted something that sounded a bit like. Apparently, there's a motorboat on the street right now. So he wanted something that was Dawkin like. So it was so much fun to do that song Exorcism of the Dead. I just kept doing similar pieces. I did stuff for Seb Godin. That I did. What was the next one? I've done so many; it's really hard to tell now. Where I should have written it all down.
That's well, no, that's just it. That's good that you're busy. You
Yeah,
know, Chad Anderson just said, been listening to a lot of Killjoys lately. Big fan. Well, Chad, check out cemeteryspawn.com. You can see the stuff that Mike's up to now.
check
So,
it out.
what does
It's not
cemetery?
like the Killjoys though; it's a totally different
It is a,
project.
it's a
Sorry.
very different feel too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Now, you explain what cemetery spawn is.
Well, it started off as just a band. Like I said, it started off with John Muir's movie. It was a song that he wanted to hear, and so now uh, I've done 3 volumes of songs that have all been used in indie horror movies. Like Unleash the Giants was used in Dino Gore, and so every one of the songs, there's been 15 or 16 now. Every one of them have been used in some kind of capacity for an indie horror flick.
Okay.
So that's basically what Cemetery Spawn is. But I've also put a live version of it together. So it's a live band as well as just the studio horror indie horror band. So we played a few gigs just before all hell broke loose. We did 2 gigs, and that was that for now. But we'll get back into it, I'm sure.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Rob Thibodeau, he's an artist. He comes to CKX all the time. Hey,
Huh.
Mike, we have some family in common. I'm Brenda Danson's nephew, Jason and Laura Trebilcock's cousin.
Nice. Well, hello.
Meeting family on here now.
Yeah, I
So,
didn't know that. I think I've seen his name on the Facebook machine.
yes, on the
Yeah,
Facebooks. So, for
yeah.
Cemetery
It's
Spawn,
a small world out there, isn't it?
it is a very, very small world.
Yeah.
I could tell you a story about how I met a cousin, but it implicates me in some bad stuff. So that might be off the air. That's
Okay. Well, definitely go there. Off.
for Cemetery Spawn now. Like we have the website up, people can go there and check it out. Are you actively saying, if you need music, contact me?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big supporter of independent artists, like people that are making horror movies. I'll definitely write something for you, and I'm very budget conscious. If it's nothing, then nothing it is. I really, as long as I get to put it under the Cemetery Spawn, banner sort of thing,
Yeah.
then I can just release it on Bandcamp. And uh, also for scores, I'm open to scores, things like that for indie artists. I'm getting busier and busier all the time. I'm doing something called Crabs right now, which is a
Thought that was bad.
Raven Banner production.
Oh, wicked.
It's a guy in LA, but we're working sort of back and forth. And I'm also doing another one that's coming up from Raven Banner, or no, from Hangar 18. It's like a Raven Banner collaboration sort of thing.
Very nice.
So there's lots of stuff going on. So I'm just getting busier and busier. But if time permits, I'm always going to have time for indie stuff,
Yes.
because I know what it's like. The other thing about making movies is how hard it is, and how hard it is just to get the money together and figure out how you're going to do this if you can't afford it. And I always want to pay people, and I know that they always want to pay people, and everyone's doing the best they can. So I just always want to be there for people that need the help.
And music is a crucial piece of a movie because that's one of the
Absolutely.
reason I have such a problem watching found footage films because there is no track, there's no music.
Yeah.
You know, I've only seen one that got around it. It was a friend of mine, Jack Thomas Smith, did one called Infliction,
Hmm.
where a brother go around in North Carolina killing people for a reason,
Yeah.
but he has like the radio on or a TV on, so he
Right.
gets that background music that way.
Yeah.
But you need that atmosphere.
I just saw the movie Host, and I don't think it's like we're doing right now, but it was actually pretty frightening. It's on Shutter right now,
Really?
but it's people with screens. It's very low budget and very effective at the same time.
Oh, I'm like, I gotta check that one
And
out.
unfortunately, no music, but still, it still had the with the sound effects. That's the other thing about movies too, is it's so much to do with the sound effects and the way the sound effects work with the music, how you carve out spots for dialogue, you carve out spots for sound effects. It's
Yeah.
not just music. The musician or the composer isn't the artist in a film. You're a supporting artist at best. You're trying to do the best, make get the best results for the entire film. So you work with the sound designer, with the editor, with everyone, just to make sure that everything works like a machine, like a well-oiled machine.
Yes. I know when I do film, I actually treat the soundtrack and score as a character themselves
Yeah, absolutely.
because they breathe life into a certain aspect of the film. And I'm going to bring up one you helped us with Hit.
Yeah,
That score that you did, it makes that film like on an upper level. Like it just adds that much more to it
yeah.
because
I
of
love
that
the
score.
film too. I love the story, and I hope something. I hope it gets back. I hope you get back to it,
Oh,
because you left us all hanging.
right. Hopefully, once the world,
But if it just ends up being that one episode, it's great. It really is something to be proud of. Or those two episodes,
yeah, the
right?
second one's almost done now, so
Yeah.
that one
So
will be released soon. But yeah, like that's what I mean. Like if you want to check out some of Mike's great score, that's one. Like I said, anything by John Miori lately, um, he's in there a lot. And I'm going to show. Here is the website, Cemetery Spawn. So if you go on to cemeteryspawn.com, this is what you should see. That awesome cat
yeah.
and all the contact information.
Rob Sachetto, I just want to mention him. He made the cat. He drew the cat, and his name is I think it's Lord Pussywinks. I think is the name of the cat,
Oh, I love
according according to my girlfriend. And yeah, check out cemeteryspawn.com. And also, oh yeah, check out Necroplasmic Massacre. Great song for a movie that has yet to uh, appear. What's the
It's still
not?
in production.
Yeah, it's still in the works.
Yeah.
Mommy, that's coming out soon. Yeah, and that's the live version of the band.
And then there's a listen aspect of it. Oh, it's all Spotify stuff.
Right. So now you're at Spotify, and that's all that It this really jogs my memory to look at those pictures.
Well, I see the one
Oh,
there.
yeah, Wrestle Massacre, great movie. Wrestle Massacre, see that too. It's out on VHS. Like Animator, that was another one that I did. So I could go through. All of these songs are all Slimoids.
Oh, I bought that and I haven't watched it yet.
Watch it.
Oh, guess I know what I'm doing tonight. Yes.
Well, I think Slimoids it's pretty short. I think I've got a copy over there too, but it's a short one, so it's not going to take up your whole night or anything like that.
I bought it. I was talking with the director, and it's like, okay, I gotta watch it. I took it home, put it on my shelf, and I literally forgot I had it. So once we're done here, that's exactly where I'm heading. But
I think I might have been at that same place where you got that. Was the something at the staircase?
yes, it was actually when you guys were there for Creature from Cannibal Creek.
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly where I got it.
Seb
Actually,
was in that. He had a cameo on that as well.
oh, that's
Anyway, I really like the community and the sort of the little thing we've got going on here with directors and composers and writers and just people from all over. It's mostly North America right now, but I mean, this could be it really is. It's a worldwide phenomenon, this whole horror and action and indie film community.
Oh yeah, it is. I know I speak very highly of the Southwestern Ontario film community because everybody seems to help everybody. If you need something, you jump in. Like even my buddy Andrew right now is filming a Christmas movie in Kitchener.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I got this coming up. It's like, if you need me, let me know. Like we're always there to help.
Yeah, it's true. And that's the way it should be. Help each other out. Don't put each other down, and you're not going to get any further ahead by making other people look worse or
Exactly.
having any kind of rivalry or anything like that. It's just help each other out. That's it.
And that's it. Literally, this is a business built on groups, not a person, on groups.
Yeah.
Because there isn't one single person that could make a movie.
That's for sure.
I speak from experience now too. Yeah, that's no.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Mike, thanks so much for chatting with us here on this. Let me see. I'm going to get to the end part here. Was there anything coming up that you wanted to talk about just before we wrap up?
Well, there's lots coming up we mentioned Spider-Mama. There's stuff that I'm not sure if I'm supposed to talk about, as far as projects go, because they want to keep it under wraps. So
yes.
I may have already said too much.
I hear you.
Let's just go with Spider-Mama and let's see, just more Cemetery Spawn stuff. I'm doing another song for Seb Godin for his Abominations of Frankenstein movie that's coming out.
Oh, that sounds good.
So he just had a pretty successful Kickstarter campaign, so that's happening. And what else? I think that's it. I'm just going to keep writing more stuff and doing your stuff, of course. I've got a song. No, I'm not even sure I can say that. So let's just. I have another movie a song in a movie that involves my hero George Romero. So.
Wicked.
That. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's a huge hint. So anything in the future that comes up like that, they'll know. They'll go, oh yeah, that was the one.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, Mike. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, and next we'll do this.
Shut up! Killjoy.